Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
As concluded,
The DMVSTREAM.COM.
Sean Parker along with Nick Iverson.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to dig it out of the board. And they score!
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the PrepZone at DMVSTREAM.COM. I'm your host Jackie Sagar, and joining me today is my colleague Tyler Byram of DMV Stream. Tyler, thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. We got some good lacrosse games to talk about. I'm excited.
Yes, a lot of great lacrosse to talk about in the area. First, we're going to be previewing the WCAC tournament, the boys and girls, as well as Severna Park versus Broadneck boys lacrosse. And we'll be looking at the IAC Championship boys lacrosse, as well as the Rebel Run Sports Guys sit down with South County girls basketball coach Patrick Noel. As always, where to watch, you can watch us anytime on DMVSTREAM.COM, as well as Fairfax Public Access Channel 10 Thursday and Saturday. Also Red Apple 21 Monday through Sunday. All right, we are going to get into our weekly recap, but first let's take a look at the DMVStream.com's new partnership with the Lacrosse Sports Network, a 24-hour network dedicated to the sport of lacrosse.
What's up, lacrosse fans? I'm excited to announce our new partnership with lacsportsnetwork.com, a 24-hour digital media network dedicated to covering the game of lacrosse, delivering thousands of hours of original programming, including live professional, collegiate, and amateur games. Now, those of you that already know about Synthesis Multimedia Productions and our platform at DMVStream.com, you know that our group has become the Mid-Atlantic's dominant force in providing live streaming of pro, college, and local high school sports. Now, in this new partnership with lacsportsnetwork.com, we'll be bringing you, the viewers, unprecedented live coverage of the Mid-Atlantic's most notable high school lacrosse programs, with matchups that include teams like Gonzaga, Georgetown Prep, Landon, Loyola Blakefield, McDonough, Boys Latin, Hill Academy, St. Paul's School, Culver, New Canaan, St. Stephen's St. Agnes, Collegiate School, and the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference Championship live from the University of Maryland. Now, in this series of 10 games, starting in early March, you can watch the best matchups live in HD with the state-of-the-art broadcast technology you've come to expect from us at Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVStream.com. Broadcasts will include a minimum of 5 HD camera angles, graphics, instant replay, live clock, live scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, and a 15-person crew, including directors, producers, camera operators, play-by-play color, and sideline reporters, all dedicated to creating a television-style broadcast experience that you can watch live right in the palm of your hand. To find out more about this project, go to lacsportsnetwork.com and start watching lacrosse right now.
And welcome back to the Prep Zone. Jackie Sagar here with Tyler Byram. Let's get into our weekly recaps. We will be talking about the WCAC Championship games. Let's start with the girls. We have Bishop Ireton with a close win over Good Counsel. And I know that this was a comeback win, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a huge come-from-behind victory for Bishop Ireton, with sophomore Lexi Ledoyan scoring with 7 seconds remaining in the game, which would be the game winner. And this was against an incredibly good Counsel team, the top-ranked team in the Washington Post poll, a team that has 7 seniors going to Division I programs. But in this game, it was tied at 5 at halftime, and all of a sudden the Falcons of Good Counsel just pushed out a lead to 9-5, and that was going into the final quarter. They held that advantage. Then it forced Kayla Duperuzal to bring the Cardinals back by scoring 3 straight goals and cutting into that deficit. Then by there, of course, the WCAC Player of the Year, Kelly Larkin, found Lexi Ledoyan with 7 seconds remaining and ended the game for there. However, at the end, Bishop Ireton had 4 chances in free position to score. And then, of course, the heads-up play of WCAC Player of the Year, Kelly Larkin, to just dump the ball off instead of taking a shot. I just think it goes to show how developed Kelly Larkin is and well-deserving of that WCAC Player of the Year nod.
Yeah, she is an incredible player. We have talked about her many times on the show this season. And it's crazy how Bishop Ireton was down 9-5, and then with less than 10 minutes left, Kayla came in and scored 3 straight goals. I mean, she really showed up for her team. Yeah,
she did it all under 10 minutes, which is really incredible to think about, especially a team like Good Counsel that prides himself on defense. And it was a low-scoring game, 10-9, but just great job. She's going to William & Mary, only a junior, so she'll have another year next year, probably filling in Kelly Larkin's role going forward.
That's right. Bishop Ireton, number 4, beating number 1, Good Counsel. Let's move over to the boys. Gonzaga with the win over DeMatha. I know this wasn't too big of a surprise since Gonzaga has won the last 7 straight WCIC titles.
Yeah, coming in, everyone was expecting Gonzaga to win. I know they talked about last week here on the show, and with PVI losing in the early rounds of the WCAC, there was really no question who was going to come away the champion. Opening quarter really just did it for the Eagles by outscoring DeMatha 7-1, and they just rode on their coattails from there. Seniors, they did what they needed to do. 3 goals for Avery Miles along with 3 assists. Senior Mikey Staunton also had 3 goals as well. Avery Miles also being the 2016 WCAC Player of the Year, committed to Michigan. There's also, they have some young guys too, and Jack Miles, only a sophomore, scoring 3 goals. Majority of the goals actually came from 4 players, 11 of them coming from Avery Myers, Jack Myers, Mikey Stanton, and Nick McAvoy, who I know you've spent some time with as well. But just the top guys for the team really showed up for this game and dominated from the start.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, I got to sit down with a few of the players, mostly Nick McAvoy. He scored 2 goals and got 2 assists in this game. But it's crazy how every player I talked to told me that their main number 1 goal as a team, as always, was to do whatever they could to get this WCAC championship title, and they did, no problem. I mean, a few of the players on this team have been on varsity all 4 years. They've won 4 WCAC championships. They still looked as excited as ever, though.
Yeah, well, part of that is actually, you mentioned they want to do everything they can to win the WCAC. 2 seniors, the goalkeeper George Christopher, played the entire game with a separated shoulder. In addition, senior Luke McCaleb, he played the entire game with a torn quad. He scored 2 goals for the team, so it just shows how passionate these kids are for lacrosse, and I mean, it pays off because of their senior class. They have 5 players committed to D1 programs, 3 of them still being recruited by D1 programs, and then 5 others committed to a D2 or D3 schools. That's 13 players from Gonzaga going on to play at the next level.
Yeah, they have an amazing program there. I mean, they really have dominated the WCAC, and both of those players, actually, you told me about who were hurt when I was there earlier in the season. They weren't even practicing, and now they made a quick recovery to help this team out in the championship. But let's move on to our 3rd and final game report. It's Severna Park with the win over Broadneck for the Anne Arundel title.
Yep, Broadneck came into this one with an undefeated record, and Severna Park, though, they had an 11-game winning streak, so something had to give in this one. And that 11-game winning streak for Severna Park was after losing the first 2 games of the season. The game was really close the entire time until partly in the second quarter when the Falcons scored 6 out of the quarter's 7 total goals. And from there, they just ran it the rest of the way. But Severna Park, they're a really balanced team. They had 10 players register a point in the game, which is either a goal or an assist. And some of it was their young guys. They have a starting goalkeeper, and Barrett Casto. He played well the entire game. Sophomore Joshua Kaufman, he had a goal and 2 assists. But the player of the game goes to Steven Zykeli, who had 2 goals and 2 assists. Only a junior, so he's going to have some time to help build this team going forward, and especially as they go into the state championship.
So what's coming up next for these teams as their season winds to an end?
Yeah, well, both of them are going to the MPSSA state tournament, and they are actually both in the in the same section. Severna Park got the number 1 seed. Broadneck got the number 2 seed, of course, with them winning and them losing. Broadneck will play Meade on May 11th, which today actually that we're filming, and then also the Severna Park will play the winner of Arundel and Old Mill this Friday, and that is to advance farther into the MPSSA state tournament.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our weekly recaps. Let's take a break and look at some of the highlights of the DMVSTREAM.COM's partnership with USA Lacrosse.
player to watch, number 1. We need number 3, please. Kelsey for another 20 or so. Ready? Roll it. Ready, come back out to 2. Getting things done. Our third player to watch for the blue team today, it's number 5, Tyler Dunn. Big back here.
And welcome back into the Prep Zone. I'm Jackie Sagar here with Tyler Byram, and we're going to get right into our weekly Fast Forward, where we will be talking all about the IAC Championship Tournament, and that's coming up this weekend, right?
Yep, another top private school lacrosse tournament in the area. It's going to be a fun one. They have 6 schools in the IAC. 4 of them are in the Washington Post top 10 as of earlier this morning. That may change as we go forward. I don't believe any of them are going to drop out, however. Bullis has dominated this conference, though, this year, which is really surprising because this is a conference that's been led by Landon and Georgetown Prep. No one besides Landon and Georgetown Prep has actually won the IAC, dating all the way back to 2002. So Bullis has a big chance this year to actually go up and dethrone Landon and Georgetown Prep, and they may actually have to go through both schools. If you look at the standings right here, 6 teams, which means top 2 teams have a bye. Bullis and Landon getting that bye. St. Stephen's, St. Agnes will play St. Albans on Friday. Then Georgetown Prep will face Episcopal as well in the 4v5 matchup. One of the top players to watch, Nate Buller. He's from Landon. He scored 58 points last year, but has missed 13 games due to an injury, and he is coming back for this tournament. He's committed to Duke, and there's also the senior for Bullis, Nicky Pekovic. He has scored 53 goals on the year, and he's really been a huge part of this team going up and being on top of the IAC.
Do you have any predictions for this?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I would say St. Stephen's, St. Agnes as an underdog to do it, but they have the VISSA overlapping with this tournament, so I'm not sure if I can do it. I'm going to have to go with Landon, especially with Nate Buller coming back.
All right, well, we are out of time already. Tyler and I are done here at the Prep Zone, but please stay tuned because earlier the guys from Rebel Run Sports sat down with Patrick Noel, the head coach of the South County girls basketball team, to talk about their season and plans looking ahead. Stay tuned.
Welcome to another very special episode of the Prep Zone on DMV Stream. I'm John Moore with Rob Chicken Papa with Rebel Run Sports. We're joined this week by Coach Patrick Noel, South County girls basketball coach. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Kind of give us a recap of the season. We talked at the beginning of the year and just kind of see how you felt the season went. And
It was one of the best seasons that the schools had. We had the 3rd most wins in school history with 15. We finished off 15-8. Set the school record for longest winning streak. We had a 7-game winning streak going on towards the end part of the season. We had our the program's first ever win against West Springfield, so that was exciting. We had a little stumble down towards the end of the season, didn't end up the way we wanted to. We ended up losing 3 out of our last 4. That doesn't take away from the successes that we did have, and it's still hard reminding myself of that, but we're definitely headed in the right direction with the program.
Terrific. Well, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, I saw Taylor Nason play several times, her and Sam Liano and Maddie Fonts. Tell us a little bit about losing them and how you're going to try to make up for that.
I mean, Taylor is a once-in-a-program,
Right.
kind of player. She finishes her career with 984 points, 1,089 rebounds. I don't have her 4-year totals for steals, which is probably the school's leader in steals. You know, you can never replace her. And so there's just so many things that she brings to the table with her leadership, with her athleticism. You know, but we're just going to have to do it collectively, you know, be it, you know, Charlotte and Nalaya getting 2 or 3 extra rebounds a game, you know, Naya and Andrea and Sabrina and Chloe getting a couple more, you know, baskets during the game or a couple more steals. So, you know, it's one of those things that you're never going to have somebody else and come in and be the next Taylor Nason. There's not going to be anybody else like her. You know, we graduate 5 seniors and all of them played varsity basketball since 9th grade. You know, Megan, Maddie, and Taylor were all for South County, and then Demaya and Sam played at the schools that they were at in 9th grade. They played varsity basketball. So, you know, that's a lot of experience, and they all 5 of them played heavy minutes for us. So we're going to be young next year. We're going to make young mistakes, but, you know, we have a lot of talent coming up, and we had, you know, we returned 7 girls who all got valuable experience in practice every day and in the games that they got. You know, we've got a couple girls coming up from JV, and, you know, there's always the chance we could have another couple freshmen that are good enough to be up and contribute on varsity. So, you know, I don't want to say it's going to be a rebuilding year, because I definitely think and we expect that we'll be able to compete for the conference, but it's going to be a different year. You know, we're going to have some different strategies in place based off of our personnel. We're going to be, you know, relying on our guards a little bit more for production. You know, Nalaya is great. One of the best things that she does, though, is get offensive rebounds and putbacks. You know, so our guards know that they have the green light as long as they catch it in rhythm and they're in their range. You know, they shoot with confidence, and part of having that confidence is knowing that we've got Nalaya and Charlotte and Lily in there to crash the offensive boards and get us putbacks or kickouts.
Well, since you brought it up, I just wanted to ask you, Naya, you know, as a freshman this year, she got a lot of time on the court. She got a lot of time handling the ball. How much did she gain from being able to play with Sam Liano, somebody that's very good at running a team that way?
You know, it was really beneficial for her. You know, we played her mostly at the 2 this year. That's where she started. You know, but she was capable of running the 1. She was typically our sub at the 1. So we would pull her out first a little bit to get Demaya or Megan, give her a breather, and then she would come right back in to give Sam her breather. You know, so she got a lot of good experience both running the 1 and coming and playing off the ball. So, you know, that'll definitely help her with whatever we have coming up for next year. We can play her in different roles. You know, there were, I think, 4 or 5 games where she was our leading scorer. So, you know, we know she has that capability. She's going to be relied on a little bit more now because we don't have Sam to get us into our offense and to get others involved. And so, you know, next year is going to be a big learning experience for her with, you know, a lot of that responsibility coming down, you know, on her and managing the game as opposed to, you know, trying to be in attack mode more often. And, you know, one of the things that she got a lot better at this year was letting the game come to her. She's one of our best on-ball defenders, and so we always, you know, harp on her to make sure that she is playing her best defense and let the offense come to her. And she, you know, understands when to pick her spots and when to attack, when to look to shoot. But, you know, now next year it's also going to be when to get her teammates involved.
Okay.
Could you, a lot of coaches come into their jobs either when a coach who was there for a long time and was successful leaves, or a coach was not very successful for a while and then they leave. You kind of came in a unique way. You know, you guys had, I think, 3 coaches in 3 years before you came in. Talk about, you know, you've really done a great job of like developing the program, kind of put your stamp on it. Talk about gaining the trust of the girls in the program, knowing that you're going to be there after a year.
Well, thank you for that. You know, yeah, it was definitely tough coming in, being the 3rd coach in 3 years. You know, and this year, was the first time any of our girls had the same coach 2 years in a row. And they definitely appreciated it first and foremost. They still, I'm sure some of them don't think that I'm coming back next year, no matter how many times I tell them. It's just ingrained in them. But, it's definitely helped. And, we starting to build the culture. And they didn't have to learn a whole new set of expectations, a whole new, coaching system and philosophy. We were able to take what we did last year and build upon that. And, that's what we're going to do for next year. Take what worked for us this year and build upon it. One of the things I think, one of the reasons we struggled down the stretch is we weren't used to being in that position. I don't know if I blame you guys, but as soon as you guys put us in your top 20, then we lose 3 of our last 4. But that was something new for these girls. They weren't used to being in first place in the conference for most of the season, and so now these girls that are coming back, they have that experience. So hopefully, if we're fortunate enough to get back in that position, they'll be able to learn from some of the mistakes that we made, be it taking an opponent lightly or not coming to play or practicing to the best of our ability each day, so that we can stay focused and achieve the goals that we're wanting to achieve.
Well, you're at South County. Obviously, it's a terrific athletic program at South County. What's it like coming in as a coach on that staff that's already, it's a tremendous staff that you have out there.
Could you explain that again? I'm sorry.
Coming onto the staff at South County, there's tremendous coaching, there's tremendous coaches, there's tremendous coaching. The athletic department is terrific. What's it like coming in as a coach there?
It's great. I wouldn't want to work for any other DSA than Leah. She's extremely supportive, both from a coaching standpoint, from a teaching standpoint, from just a personal and life standpoint. She gets what we have here at South County, and she knows how great all of our sports programs can be, and she puts her coaches in positions to be able to succeed, and is constantly looking for ways to help them grow and build each team's culture to kind of fit South County's vision. And she got all of the staff one of the John Gordon books, just helping to build culture and relationships, things like that. And so you can tell that she's committed to building the success and continuing the success from the first 10 years of the school.
So take us through the off season now. What are you doing right now? What's coming up throughout the summer? Seems like you're not on vacation, so.
What off season, right? No, for us at South County, the spring is one of our lighter seasons. That's the first chance that we get to work with the 8th graders that will be coming up. So Pat Deegan runs a great Fairfax Rising Freshman League that we actually just finished up our games last week. We went 6-2, so we're excited about the future of what's coming up through the pipeline. Most of our girls are playing AAU. We've been taking advantage of our green days, trying to get better. We tell the girls that from March until November is the time for them to be selfish, to work on their own games, and then once they hit November, it's to put those pieces together to fit the team. So we have meetings with the girls to discuss kind of what their weaknesses are at the end of this season. We tell them if they're the same weaknesses come tryouts, then you wasted your time.
Right.
And so we don't want them to try and become this great overall player between now and next season. We want them to take 1 or 2 things, and I tell them spend 85-90% of your time on those 2 things. And if you can do that year after year, by the time you're a senior, you're going to have 6 to 8 different skills that you're really good at.
Right.
So we've got our camp that will be the last week in July for girls that are going into 3rd through 10th grade. Registration's available at stallioncamps.com. And we do that. We're going to go down to Elon the last weekend in June, right after school gets out, for their team camp down there. So we're excited for that, just to get a completely different view of some of the basketball. You know, I wouldn't imagine we'll see any teams from our area that we would see. Last year we went down to JMU and did well. You know, we're looking forward to going down and seeing what North Carolina basketball is about. And then we hit conditioning pretty hard in August, and then fall we're 2-3 days a week getting ready for the season. So fortunately, you know, we don't have too many girls that are playing a fall sport, so we get the majority of our girls in the gym with us 2-3 days a week. And you know, this year, you know, Coach Carlock, who's one of our assistants, he was with Coach Lockett before, and you know, when I started, they were struggling to get 6-8 girls at their workouts. You know, in this fall, I think we had one that we had less than 20 girls at our workouts. Wow. So, you know, that kind of goes to show that just that, you know, having the same coach over and over, you know, and they bought into what we're trying to do. You know, at our last Rising Freshman game, we had 5 out of our 7 coaches come in just to be there. And you know, it just shows that the coaches were invested in the girls, and you know, it doesn't matter what level they're playing at. You know, we're there to support them and get them better.
Excellent. Well, let me ask you, going back to this season, who are some players in the area that kept you up at night that you had to face? Who are some of the best players in the area that you had to go up against?
You know, Shanice Ray from Mount Vernon gave us fits. Yeah. Shelby Haynes, I'm glad she's graduated. I still find myself replaying that end of the game play when she hit the layup to send our game into overtime. Yeah. You know, that had a huge impact on the end of the season. That would have given us, had we pulled that out, that would have given us the 1 seed. You know, then we wouldn't have had to deal with Shanice in the playoffs. You know, Katie Garish from Annandale. You know, she's going to be a force next year, and they've got some good young guards around her. I think they're going to be tough. I mean, TC's only graduated 1 girl. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, you know, they're probably going to be looked at as one of the favorites, especially given that they, you know, pulled out the win against West Springfield in the championship. You know, but I think we got some good girls coming back too that other teams are going to be worried about.
Absolutely.